Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. I am here because this is a pre conversation before I go live for the conversation on Instagram Live. I mentioned this on my Substack Live the other day that I'm launching a new Instagram Live show on the Midas Touch Instagram page, and I'm having a chance to talk to who I think are people that are interesting right now. I spoke with Jolly Good Ginger. I spoke with Representative Justin J. Pearson. And today I'm speaking with Walter Masterson. So after this live, see if you have time, jump on the Midas Touch page, the Instagram page, and we'll be going live. We'll be going live at 12:15 Pacific time, 3:15 Eastern time. So this is my chance to talk to all of you before I do that live. And I'd like to try to kind of do that from now on, is have our own special community chat before the conversation. The reason why I think it's really cool to do the on Instagram Live is it's a platform that a lot of people have. It's a very accessible platform. A lot of older folks have it because they've had joined Facebook. A lot of younger kids like Instagram. It kind of reaches all ages and all political spectrums, and it has as close to an in-person conversation I think you can get. I mean, pretty much any live has that in Instagram, which kind of still reaches a lot of people. So Walter Masterson, if for all of you who don't know him, or perhaps you do, he actually did something with Midas Touch 5 years ago. He kind of got his start around the same time that Midas Touch did during the pandemic, and he did and still goes and speaks to MAGA people. And the other day, he went to a town hall and confronted a congressman about ICE. Like, he has the most outrageous, funny videos where he just gets them, MAGA people, to admit all sorts of stuff. He has this one video where says, like, oh, isn't communism so horrible? And then, of course, he names all these things that um, are socialist, right? Or government funded things. And the MAGA person loves each of them. Like, he's good at bringing out the absurdity, basically, the absurdity of a lot of these MAGA and Republican talking points in a way that is funny because we have to laugh sometime. The news is incredibly scary right now. I think the news is incredibly bad. I think that it's going to get worse, to be honest. I feel like I could feel the midterms, after the midterms for 2028. I think things are going to get very intense. I think the people that basically put Trump in power, the Project 2025, Elon Musk, that whole white supremacy element, and not even just white, even just the male supremacy element, the Christian male supremacy element. I think they have a taste of power and they're not going to let go so easily. So I think there's going to be some crazy stuff that happens in these next 2 years. So if we don't have some relief, how are we going to get through it, right? And Walter just has a way of he's just hilarious. He's really so funny in his approach and his videos. And so I was super excited to be able to, just give us a chance to laugh together. And also, he's incredibly informed. He really knows his stuff. He seems like also he's been more of an activist lately. He's been helping out candidates he cares about. And so I'm just kind of interested in laughing along with him, hearing his take, what his approach is going to be. I mean, how do you keep trying to be funny when the news is so bad? So, if you guys if you know him right now and you have any questions that you want me to ask him, definitely put it in the chat. Otherwise, join on the Instagram Live. I'm going to try to monitor that chat as well and bring people in and ask those questions that people have in real time. But also, like I said, maybe it's just a chance for us to kind of like be together, laugh together, maybe learn a little bit of something. I'm just so impressed with anybody who has been able to navigate these last 5 years. I mean, he went from never doing this, never being a content creator. He has multi-millions of followers across all platforms. He's huge on TikTok. He's huge on Instagram. He's huge on X. That in itself, being able to do that in not a hateful way, but just in a way that's really smart and yet makes us laugh is great. And so the thing he did with Midas Touch about 5 years ago actually had to do with Matt Gaetz and, um, Marjorie Taylor Greene, which honestly now just seems so quaint, right? Like, if our problems were still just Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz. But it is hilarious. I am going to try when I post the full live, like screenshotting this so everyone can like go and find it. It was posted back actually almost exactly 5 years ago in 2021. Midas Touch posted it. He did like a collab with them. So it's kind of cool. He gets to do another collab with them. But he goes up to them and he's like, I only take pictures with pedophiles. So, like, if you're a pedophile, and then he says to Marjorie Taylor Greene, like, I only take pictures with crazy people. And Matt Gaetz's face is like priceless. He- the courage to go up to people and say that kind of stuff is great. It was just a perfect way of calling him out. Of course, as we know, Matt Gaetz, had all that was much more in the news back then about his dealings with an underage girl, which obviously never went anywhere. Now, of course, we have this entire Epstein White House, an entire Epstein class. We have the Tate brothers sitting in jail and possibly like appealing to Trump for help. Maybe even will get Trump's help. So, the pedophile evidence or people involved in pedophilia, human trafficking, or sex trafficking has gotten like way worse since Mac is not that it has gotten way worse, but I think our awareness, our understanding, our access to the information about it has shown us how much worse it is, right? Than even Mac. Not trying to minimize whatever did happen with Mac. I think most of you kind of know what I'm talking about here. So anyway, so he just talks the Epstein class. He talks about ICE. I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a video that went viral where he and a few friends showed up at a congressman's town hall who voted. It was actually a Democrat who voted to continue funding ICE, and they just said the most outrageous things. And of course, they got like taken away. And he talks about in a video how he was getting threatened to be criminally prosecuted by Trump administration. I think the head of the civil rights department lawyer had like retweeted something about that. It doesn't seem like that went anywhere, but they were thinking about, I guess, charging him under that act, that FACE Act, the same one that they did charge Don Lemon because the town hall happened to be held in a place of worship. Which honestly, that seems. I don't see how. I mean, I could see people wanting to maybe protect a house of worship, but if you're literally holding a government meeting in there, I don't see how that reconciles, that you can prosecute somebody for protest, and maybe that's why it hasn't gone anywhere. Or frankly, maybe they're kind of waiting to see what else he does, right? I mean, um, as we see today, Fauci, right, getting brought in front of Congress over the pandemic, which was honestly years ago. And this man, 85-year-old, who truly a public servant, has had to deal with so much death threat, so much harassment, had to deal with something that nobody had to deal with, right? For how many years? 80 years, I think, before the last pandemic. He was a voice of reason for the American people. We had this president talking about bleach, and all of us were just so grateful that somebody like Dr. Fauci was in charge. And he's being hauled in front of Congress because Rand Paul, wants to make a name for himself, right? Like, isn't that what this is about? And says that, oh, Biden pardoned him, but he's not going to be pardoned based on anything he says today. And so Fauci took the fifth, evidently like 50 different times. He took the fifth rather than testifying. And I say, good for him. This is how you treat this administration. You don't pretend that they are reasonable. I mean, Rand Paul said the purpose. He said, anything you say today is not covered by a pardon. So why on earth would Dr. Fauci testify? And I'm so tired of this idea that we are all going to play a game, right? That we're going to pretend the thing isn't a thing. Like, I've been doing a lot of CNN appearances, and the conservative or Republican or whatever person trying to justify ICE and the ICE tactics, because now ICE is going into airports and these really horrifying videos. I mean, it's so scary and sad seeing what they're doing to our friends and neighbors. And they try to just justify it like, oh, it's about overstaying visas and da da da. And I'm like, why are you giving them cover when they're not even trying to get cover? I mean, Stephen Miller is literally on TV saying we used to have quality immigration and we need to get to that point. What he means by that is white immigration. I mean, they're not trying to pretend that they want to stop people from coming, that they want to scare people into self-deporting. I mean, they literally paying people to self-deport. Why are you giving them cover when they aren't even trying to pretend what is happening? And I feel like that is the same way with so I'm glad Fauci didn't try to pretend that Rand Paul was an honest broker in this, that he wasn't trying to actually perhaps help us as a country in the next time we face the pandemic. Because Dr. Fauci just did the best he could, but we could probably have done things differently. Having an actual honest conversation. But that wasn't what Rand Paul did. And I'm so glad Fauci didn't try to pretend, because Rand Paul said it, that this was about trying to get a perjury charge. And Fauci believed him and he invoked the fifth. And sure enough, Rand Paul was so upset about it. Why? Why are you upset about somebody taking you at your word, for somebody believing who you are? We need to start believing who they are, believing it when they show us, believe us when they tell us. Don't try to give them some justifications that they're not even giving themselves. We have to, and yeah, so I'm gonna keep doing it. I was on CNN again yesterday. I'm gonna be doing it again in 2 weeks, and, you know, it's funny because I'm not really around a lot of MAGAs in my real life. So it's like the most I'm around MAGAs is now on these panels. But, to me, I'm like, okay, what's my purpose here? And my purpose, I'm trying to have my purpose be, what is it that maybe could be helpful for people to hear? And I do think that a lot of those shows have a mixed audience. And when I say that, I mean like some undecided voters, perhaps, or some Republican. And I don't know if I'm ever going to change anybody's mind, but at least I'm not going to let them get the last word. Perhaps that's my purpose, is just not to let them have an easy talking point. So we'll see how that all goes. But I'm going to jump off so that way I'm not late for the conversation. Thank you all for joining. Really super appreciate this. I know it's like in the middle of the day and it's not always easy to jump on a live, but really, really grateful for this community. And yes, another distraction from the fascist Epstein regime. Absolutely. Just another distraction. So if you have Instagram, jump on it. How you can do the live. I'm not doing it from my own channel. I'm doing it from the Midas Touch channel, just to kind of allow my guests to have the largest audience possible. But you can always find, if you cannot jump on the live, I'm always going to have my guests recorded in my bio. So right now you can look and you can see, like if you missed the one from Representative Justin Pearson last week, you can find it in my Instagram bio. But definitely find, if you can, join us in just about six-ish minutes. I'm interviewing Walter Masterson. So glad you asked that, because I think I said it in the beginning, but a lot of people have joined since then. Walter Masterson, viral content creator, has multi-million followers. He got his start during the pandemic, and he's the one who goes to these MAGA places and says and gets them to say the most outrageous things and really shows their absurdity. And he's smart, but it's also so funny. And the reason why I wanted to interview him is because I just think we really need laughter through this. And sometimes the best way to actually honestly reach somebody is through laughter, because just arguing about it doesn't always work. So anyway, I hope to see you all soon. Thanks for joining the live. Super grateful for this community.